Alright, boys, so we're back. Dragon Bozos and whatnot united. So this is going to be a quick profile on the goo, as well as if you guys are like interested in all the more in-depthier stuff. I'll be like talking about it later in another video, most likely. But this is just going to be a quick rundown of what I think of what I'm going to be playing looks like in the next format, and I'll just go through like in-depth the stuff that like I think is worth talking about, especially with this deck because I think it's all pretty solved now. So for the rockets, just 3 tracer, 1 recharger, 2 synchron, 2 abzo. This is all standard at this point. Don't play any more, don't play any less. You can play silver and like Magna if you want to play a more rocket focused deck, but I don't think it'd be that good simply because the guard dragons are like banned now besides like Pissy, and you really need just more extenders in that variant of the deck and more gas in order to play, and you're essentially trading off just consistency and more cards that allow you to have a turn 3, turn 5 like game state for like just blowout cards, which I don't think is worth it personally. For the normals now, the best normal deck by far now, triple Safer and then Chamber, best girl, and then Safer. This card just gets better now as we get more and more support for this deck, or stuff gets off of, off the ban list, like the Strudo. This card just becomes significantly better every time, allowing you to search more and more dragons, and it's just like, it gets better now with the Strudo because this and the Strudo are like 3 lines of play now. So yeah, that's for the normals. For the extenders, Babes, Nocto, Levy, Red Eyes, and then the Strudo. Strudo in this deck is interesting because you can play a lot of things with it. One of the things I wanted to test with this Strudo for a fact was Baroness, Barone, but after like testing it online and trying to see how I can consistently get to it, I realized it's not required for the combo, and at that point you're just playing win more cards when you realistically should be playing cards that help you advance your game state in this deck and like essentially try to like play more hand traps, and you're also just throwing stuff in the extra deck you're not going to be able to make very often, which is something you don't want to do. You want all your cards to have utility in this deck because everything essentially allows you to, if you do one thing, you have access to another, etc, etc. You can play the Shooting Riser, Shooting Riser, Dawn Dragster, and Snow variant, but like I still don't think that's good, especially because you're banishing all the stuff in your grave, which you really don't want to do because you need it in the grave for follow-up for either the babies, and specifically the biggest reason why you never want to banish stuff from grave, Levineer. This card is just phenomenal, and taking away lights and darks for this just so you can get a Book of Moon is just kind of whack. I get it, like it's the hype is real and whatnot, but I think we only just need to play the Strudo. That's it. That's it for the monsters. For the spells now, the mandatory 8, 3 quick launch, 3 space, 2 field spell. Standard again. Not a lot of theory behind any of this. 2 trap. I want to test 3 of this thing in this format, but I don't think it'll be that good. But again, it's still the beginning, so we're not sure how things are going to shape up. But from like the PPG, if you guys caught any of that, 100% it shows Phantom Knights is going to be the best deck of the format, confirmed, and Virtual World and Sword are not that far behind. Like, it's just, yeah, it's really good. That's it for the monsters and the spells and the traps. For the hand traps now, stuff you guys always like to see. 3 Lancia, 3 Effect Veiler, 3 Nib, and then 2 Ogre. So, what's my reasoning behind any of these cards? So, Lancia I think is going to be the best hand trap of the format for sure. This card just hits everything you really want it to hit. It hits PK, it hits VW, it hits Eldritch to some degree because I sense that deck is going to be insane this format now, especially with like triple skill drain. It also just like interacts with your deck as well because it's a light. Nib is kind of going to be hit or miss, I think. So, right now, for certain, I don't know about these 2 right now, but as the format progresses, these either are going to be cut for cards like, and I still want to test, like I might play again Ash if these cards just lose relevancy. I might play Skullmeister. I might bump up Ghost Ogre if this card becomes better, because I do have high hopes for this card, this format. I think it's going to be a lot better, simply because It's going to interact with Flunder really well. It's going to interact with the Cherubini, the Enchantress, not the Enchantress, the continuous spell, the Griffin Rider. This nib in this against like the PK board, if you nib and then they chain Griffin Rider, you can chain Ogre, and this is essentially the same interaction with like Veiler, nib. It's essentially, it gives you 5 cards now to interact with nib to out the Griffin Rider like PK board or like Griffin Rider prank at the board. Essentially, this is one of the outs to it, so you can let them get to the full combo. And essentially, this also ogering the Griffin Rider makes it where you essentially, they can't get it back now, so that's done. Like, you know, it's what you want to do, just kill the engine. But yeah, that's it for the hand traps. Again, early format stuff, so it's 100% bound to change. For the extra deck now, for the synchros, these are all mandatory. You gotta play these boys. You can play Scarlight, but I don't think it's needed. For the ring 4s, just Axis Apo. I'm not playing Sword anymore. Right now I'm testing a build without Sword because I am playing Noodleman. And Noodleman might change as well. Apo might change as well. Like, there's a lot I'm going to be changing to, because I believe in Battles of Chaos we're getting the Dark Charmer, or in the next set. And if that does come out in Battles of Chaos, then I am probably cutting the fiber for the Dark Charmer, because the Dark Charmer is just insane. And it's going to be really good in this deck. Triple Burst still, Unicorn, 2 Round Boys, IP, Quad, Rom, Striker, and Piss Baby. Pissy. That's it for the extra. Stuff I want to test, like I said earlier, Ash for sure. I want to test Dark Arm, the Dragon of Annihilation, and then test maybe playing Boral Sword still, because I think I'm just like stopping the opponent as much as I can. Turn 3, I just want to go for the OTK, so this might be played over Appaloosa. Dark Arm, this is also something, if you guys don't know who, I think it's Just Destiny, I believe is the name. I don't know anything about the dude, I just know it's Just Destiny, or Destiny. If you guys watch any of like DB Grinder stuff, he's always playing Dragon Link. He's one of the main people I know who play this, so he's onto something probably. A lot of people that I know who I talk about the deck, one guy in particular has been wanting me to play this, so I might test this now. With just more extenders and stuff. You don't have to hard make it since it's the 7. You can just overlay it over an 8 if you have exactly 5 darks engraved, and then it's just a pop. It just can't attack that turn. So essentially what you do is, like, you clear the board, you swing into everything, you know, you waste your battle phase essentially, and then you overlay the ruler into this, and then you detach the ruler and pop a card. Essentially what that also does is now it puts the ruler back in grave if you reborned it and then made this. So yeah, it's just free stuff. It's pretty cool, I guess. But yeah, cards I also want to test for the following format for sure. I want to test Skullmeister. I also want to test DD Crow. Like, I really want to test these cards just because I think they might be good. It's just going to be dependent on how I see the format shaping up. Meister might be a really good card to play again. Crow, still up in the air. Just because it hits DP, it hits Scythe, it hits like the BAs. It's just really bad against Flunder. It hits the Eldritch matchup too. Because the hardest matchups I think you have in this deck are for sure Flunderies and Eldritch, if you go second. Because Eldritch, if they set 5 pass with like Seal Dream, bro, like GG, that's over. Your only interaction with it is like spheres, and if they like Conquistador pop the spheres, like, bro, just go to game 2. But yeah, that's it for the deck. It's not a lot of complex things. Minor announcement, I guess, is I made a Discord, so if you guys just want to hop in on that and like fucking do nothing, and I'll check in on it like every few years or months or weeks or something. Yeah, the link will be in the comments, so, or description or whatever. But yeah, anyway, Dragon's best deck.